Hi guys, it's Jasmine. It is Open Jar Podcast. Thank you for coming in for another episode. Today, I have a special guest. I have my friend Darren here. How are
doing?
you?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm so glad you're joining
Awesome.
me for this very special episode because I know everybody talks about like past traumas and things like that, but specifically the little version of you. And I really wanted to dive into that topic, but I specifically wanted it to be with a male versus a female. I wanted to be with a guy friend of mine versus my friend, my girls, we deal with our emotions, but I also know that you are a very emotionally intelligent guy that I know. So I wanted to have this conversation with you because it might get a little. I don't say that's my goal to make somebody cry. It's not my goal necessarily to make somebody cry, but sometimes it may happen. So either I cry, somebody cries. It might happen. So we're gonna dive into this topic about the little version of you. My cousin Whitley, she sent me this prompt, or we were talking, having this conversation, and the prompt, when I tell you, it had me. I had to pause. It really had me having to pause because I was in shambles just from the thought of this prompt. But before we go into that, Darren, introduce yourself to the people. Tell them where they can find you, what you do, all those good things.
My name is Darren Roche. I am a trainer. You guys can find me on Instagram. You guys can find me on so many other things. Hold on. I got Instagram. I have Twitter. I have Facebook. You guys can find me on Instagram at KingDR__. I'm a trainer. I'm a drummer. I'm a father. And there's some other upcoming things that I have not yet spoken about, but it's in the works.
It's in the works. It's in the works. Don't even worry about it. Awesome. Thank you so much again for joining me. So today's topic, dear little you. Okay. And I only gave him that. I didn't give him nothing else. So he is coming into this completely blind on this topic, other than that. So the first part of this is picture your childhood bedroom door. And I want you to, in your mind, I want you to open the door. I want you to go sit down next to yourself and tell your childhood self the things they need to hear. That is the prompt. When I tell you I heard this and I was about to be in tears because of it immediately took me back to so many different parts of my childhood where I needed to hear certain things, and maybe not that I was in unsafe spaces, but it was just I needed to hear those words like that I'll be okay. So if you were to go in this prompt and go sit down to your little self, like what is the first thing that comes to mind if you want to even paint the picture of like what was happening if in that picture that you get in your mind?
Hmm. What would I say to myself? It's a very good question. I think the first thing that I would say to myself is it's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's okay to
Yeah.
get it wrong. It's actually the prerequisite of you getting better. It's the prerequisite of you getting successful. It's the prerequisite of you getting to the next level. It's okay
Yeah.
to make mistakes. It's okay to fail. Try again. Go for it. Like,
Yeah.
don't be scared. Don't be intimidated. You know, that's one thing I would definitely tell myself. That's probably the first thing
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
most important.
And most important, yeah.
Mhm.
I think we often in our childhood minds we're because it immediately took me, I'll say specifically, it took me to spaces where when I was a child, let's go back to when I was, I don't even know what age, like 5 or 6. And we were in different spaces. Like I was at one point we were in a shelter. Like I it takes me back to those spaces where I knew what was going on. I knew I was very aware of like my surroundings and that we were in not the best situation. And so yes, like it's okay. It's okay to be in this space. It's okay to make mistakes. I completely feel you on that. For me it was like you're safe now. That was like immediately like you're safe. It's okay. It's okay to exist in this space and need help from people around you because in those when you're hyper aware of your surroundings, it almost makes you like, I have to do everything I can to protect myself. And so growing up, it's like, I'll do anything to protect me. Like, what do I have to do? So what's something else that comes to mind for you?
Another thing that comes to mind is just take my time. Like,
Mm,
take your time. My first thing is definitely it's okay to mess up. It's okay to make mistakes. But my second thing would be take your time. Because no, sometimes you might be like, for me, I'm multi talented. So it's like you try to do everything at once. Try to
yeah.
be the best this. You try to be the best
Yeah.
that. You try to be the best this. But what you realize, you sometimes you can only do one thing at once, and it's just trying to do everything all at once and at a how would I say expedited pace.
Right.
It's a lot, especially on somebody. If I'm thinking about my younger self, somebody whose mind is not fully yet developed or fully not matured yet.
So how did so you feel like you were coming up to yourself now, like you rushed through some parts of your childhood?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Wow. And what are some of the consequences of that you see now? You wish you like, hey, you should have. What do you see that you did that was rushed?
Um, I would say, just trying to be the best son or trying to be the best student,
Mm-hmm.
you know, trying to be the best drummer, trying to be the best like cousin, just
All at
all
once.
at once,
Yeah.
and trying to optimize everything without having the full level of maturity to like optimize everything. Just be great at one thing, Just
Yeah.
just take your time and be good at one thing,
You know, that reminds me of those. I didn't really have this when I was growing up, but I know some parents, you'll have your child in like all these different sports all at one time, and they're like, you got practice from sun up to sundown. They're doing something. Essentially, they never get time to really master one thing because they're focusing on. So you feel like it was like you were focusing on so many different elements all at once, trying to like be everything to almost everybody.
Exactly.
Mm. So now, like, fast forward to now, like, how do you combat that? Have you decided and taken the time to, like, let me just focus on this in this moment? I'm here and I'm present. Is that how you do it now?
Absolutely. I just like to be present in whatever moment that I'm doing and actually like just take heed of where I am
Mm-hmm.
at the time. I'm a type of person like, for instance, if I'm with you in a space, like I'm okay with putting my phone down and giving somebody my undivided attention and not feeling bad about like, oh, like, there's something that I gotta do, like that can wait.
Right, right,
Like, or I
absolutely.
gotta do this or I gotta do that. That can wait right now. Like let's live in this moment right now and take care of what's here.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing would be learning how to say no. Because
Listen.
growing up like that, you almost become a people pleaser,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you feel like mom got to ask you something, I got to do something. Kid's mom asks for something, you got to do it. You have to do everything right. Everybody's counting on you to do this, to do that, to do that, to do that, and you almost feel bad when you say no to somebody, or you feel bad when you just like, what, I do not have the capacity. You just don't like.
Yeah, yeah.
It's I had to get with myself and be like, you know what? It's okay to say no. You
Yes.
know.
Yeah. I 100% agree because there was a time where I was going so much for everybody, and that I found myself so depleted. And I was wondering, why am I always like, either I'm really tired or I don't feel like I'm feeling like I'm a shell of myself. But that goes back to that little version of you as a child, not really having boundaries, not having. It's a good thing that we have learned this as we've gotten older. But yes, as a child, I didn't know what boundaries were. Like, I didn't know that. What correction? There was one thing specifically. My sisters, when it came to my sisters, okay, if they wanted me to do something, I was not the little. I am the youngest, so if it was something my sisters wanted me to do, I would easily be like, no,
Absolutely not.
absolutely not. Even to this day, my sister, sometimes they would want me to do their hair and this, that, and I would be like, yes, yes, yes. But now, My sister, she wanted me to do some mini twists in her hair right now, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it.
I got stuff to do.
I got stuff to do. I did Arden's hair a few weeks ago for her birthday, and I was like, girl, it took forever. So no, I don't want to do it. But that's, again, as a child, you don't have that sense of boundaries, that sense of like, let me respect myself more in this situation, that I can say no. I think, coming back to like you now as a parent, what are some of the things that you are allowing your child to do because you realize the negative effects of it, as from you as a child, to like, as a parent, you know what, you can do X, Y, and Z. For me, I will say, as you think about that answer, for me, when it comes to Arden, and I don't know if I ever had to deal with this. Maybe I did or did not as a child. But like, if she says, I don't like to do that, or I don't like, if it comes to talking to somebody, being around somebody, or even somebody wanting her to do something for them, I'll be like, if she says, I don't like to, that's what she says, I'll be like, okay, she doesn't want to. And I'm not going to force her to be in somebody's presence, do something for somebody, or whatever it is, just because that person is an adult. So that's something that I allow her as a child.
With my son, Dylan,
He's something else.
he's a character, man. But I love him. He is an amazing little boy, very just baby genius. With him, I want to say Dylan, he has a problem hearing the word no. I think for him is like he kind of identifies the word no almost as if you don't love him. Like he's just like, oh, you don't love me. Like you don't you don't love me. Like you don't want to do this for me. And sometimes I would have to break down to him like, hey, just because I say no doesn't mean I don't love you. It might mean like, hey, not yet or not at this moment. And I feel like he categorizes that as like you don't love me. So at the same time, I think it also like derives with me breaking it down to him so much because like as a kid, I always kind of like in Haitian culture it's a little bit different. In Haitian culture, like they don't tell you yes or no, but you don't have a say so. You don't have a say so. You don't. They're not gonna tell you yes or no, but it's on their term when they want to do it.
Right.
So like when I do say no to my son, it's almost as if like I'm giving him that affirmation that I didn't get. You know, I think, and that's one thing that also kept me like in a place of, how would I say, in a place of, I want to say kind of like scarcity, scared to speak up, scared to be like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
okay, because you had parents that just simply in Creole they be like, "Ou pas gen raison." As a child, it means like it's like you don't got no say so.
Right.
You know,
Stay in a child's place.
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. Oh yeah.
So
It's not. What is it? What is that term? Kids are supposed to be seen and not heard.
yeah,
Yeah. They
it's
opinion.
wild.
What is an opinion as a child?
Wild, wild.
That is for real. Like, what is an opinion as a child? And it's good that you allow him to understand. Like, there's a yes and there's a no. There's a not right now. There is conversation, and I feel like that's another thing. Let's have a conversation. Yes, I'm your parent. I am the adult, but you, as a very smart child, understand me speaking to you and explaining something to you versus me just saying, like, I'm the adult. You gotta listen to what I say. Like, that doesn't allow them to be able to vocalize themselves in the future.
And listen, he real intelligent because when I say no, he'll ask why.
Oh yeah, listen,
and I have to tell
explain
him
it.
Why. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Why right now? And he'll ask more questions. He's like, because it's hot, or because you don't want me to do it right now, or because you don't have it right now. Like he'll literally and I'll just be staring at him like,
you understand
like,
everything I say.
He really like he needs an explanation down to everything, but I love it because I didn't have a place where I could ask why or
that was we were not given that opportunity, and that was one of the things that really affected me as a child because I was fully aware of all every time we had a situation where we moved, I moved so much as a child. So little me was very much like, okay, another school, another city, another. So as an adult, it made me be like, okay, I hate moving. Moving is already terrible, right? Who likes it? But I despise it because I moved so much as a child that I don't want to move at all. I want to put roots. I want to just be here
I feel that.
because it was so much. So little me understood so much of what was going on that moving I don't like. Being around a ton of people is not my thing either, right? Mm-mm. No, I don't like it. I'd rather be in my little space. I like to protect my peace, like for real, because of that little version of me and the way I was in so many different environments that, again, not that they were unsafe. It's just I was just in so many different spaces that it just doesn't sit right with me now. So there's so many parts of, and I don't like to use, I know a lot of people say when it comes to your childhood traumas and things like that, I know there was things that happened. I know there was traumas there, but I don't want to be that person that's like, oh, it's my parents' fault. Like I don't do that because they were trying just as we are parents now.
Absolutely.
Bruh.
Absolutely.
We're parents now. Okay.
There's no manual to this.
There is no manual to this. You just gotta do it and gotta figure out as you're going on.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you have a son, I have a daughter. We got one. Okay. I can't imagine.
One.
Listen, I can't imagine having a couple of kids, several kids, and I'm the youngest of 6. I couldn't imagine having 6 kids and trying to figure out all of the things and moving and like jobs and all of the elements that adulting comes with. I don't know why I was rushing to be an adult.
It's a trap. Don't do it.
It's a scam. It's the biggest scam of all times.
Stay a kid as long as
It's the
possible.
biggest scam. I don't know why I was rushing it. I really don't. But all through coming up, because little me is all including high school. Like that's the little version of me. All of that was childhood. All of that, even though thought I was close enough to an adult. Chabu. Like I wasn't. All the way up to 18-year-old me, all of that, there's so much stuff I wish I could tell myself. Take your time. Like patience is a virtue.
Absolutely.
It's really a virtue. Are there other key moments of your childhood that you realize like you needed to speak some words of affirmation over yourself?
See, it's not just myself. Thank God for my mom. Hey, shout out to the moms out there, the active moms doing their thing. We appreciate you.
So much.
Just growing up, I was a very, I wouldn't say scared, just timid kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's not seizing on opportunities and stuff like that because I didn't think I was capable of it or I didn't feel like, I could do it. If I could like literally go to myself, I would tell myself to try, do it, do it scared, do it timid, do it when you don't know how to do it. Like let go that fear of getting it wrong. Let go that fear of making mistakes. Like let go that fear of embarrassment or just I think you know what it is. And I feel like us as parents doing this gentle parenting.
It's low key a scam sometimes.
It's a scam, but I feel like it's necessary because I believe certain things that I was taught in certain ways that I was taught growing up, and I see a lot of parents who do that now. And it's like, I'm gonna give an example. Like, when they teaching the kid how to do math. And it's like, if Johnny has 2 apples and 2 oranges, how many pieces of fruit he has? And you're like, 7. And they're like,
they lose it.
Yeah. So it's like, it's something that you don't think is traumatic as a parent.
It
And I understand that our parents were only doing the best that they could do in the versions of themselves that they were at that
Right.
specific time.
Right.
And I understand that, but now that seeing my son, it's like, I'm gonna beat you for something that you don't understand. How am I going to harm you or discipline you on something that you don't have the full intellect of, just because your mind is not
Facts.
that yet developed? And
Facts.
certain traumas are built from that. Like, just I believe every person should be speaking boldly, say how you feel, say what's on your mind, even if it might make the next person feel
Yeah.
uncomfortable. I'm not saying be disrespectful,
Right.
but I'm
Right.
saying like you should be able to voice yourself strongly, without feeling like, oh, like, I can't really do this and I don't know how this person might feel or this and that. And I feel like a lot of that is derived from the ways that we were taught growing up.
Mm-hmm.
My mom, she would like, just going back to the firming, my mom, she would just like, she would say this one thing to me when I was growing up. Whenever I was timid about doing anything, she would just be like, "You're the lion of God. Like, you're the lion of God. You can do anything you put your mind to.
Mm.
Like, you can do it." And that always like stuck with me whenever I felt like fearful of something, whenever I felt like that
You
that kind
couldn't
of
do it.
mindset of like, oh, like, dang, I might get it wrong, or might, man, that type of mindset stops you from doing things that you're meant to do as an adult, because you literally disqualify yourself before you even try. you know
Yes. Yeah. That's so. I think that is so key. And it's a good thing that your mom started doing that and started saying that to you. The words of affirmation that our parents speak over us, or the negative words they speak over us, they live with you. They are the groundwork for how you develop and your mind develops as you get older. It's either going to be, oh yeah, I got this, I could do this, or it's going to be like, man, I don't think I can do this. And either you're going to continue to fight against that. It's like kids will go with what you say, or they're going to fight against what you say. And it's all in how you talk to them and how you prepare them for the world. And so it's so good that your mom was doing that, because it started to resonate with you as you got older. In the
Absolutely.
beginning, it probably was like, this lady don't know what she's talking about. Like, okay, lady, okay,
Like, it's hard. You ain't even tried
you don't even
yourself. You don't
like
even
what,
know.
you don't
Like,
even know, man. You're not doing this work. You're not doing this. But eventually you're like, no, I can, because you see the results of that. Like, I can actually do this. I can make this happen. I can do everything that she's saying. I got it. I got it. And then it starts to resonate with you even more as you get older. Completely 100% agree. And that's why I feel like it's so important to have the conversations that you have with your kids now. Like, don't think that they aren't smart enough to understand you. They understand very
and they
well.
do. They
They
do.
are listening. They are absorbing everything that you're saying to
Even
them.
if they're not looking at you.
Listen, they could be in the other room. They could be clear across in the other room and be like, okay. I heard that. I heard that. I'm tracking. Um, Something that happened recently with my mom. Arden was able to, she was talking to like my other little cousins, and she told them everything that she saw with that happened with my mom. She was just in the room. It's not like I broke it down to her and explained. She absorbed everything from her little 4-year-old mind, and she was able to recount how she saw it, explain like body language, everything. And I was like, wow.
Mama was like, ah!
Like, it was
like, literally.
it was the craziest thing, because I was able to see like these kids are really smart. They're absorbing everything. So everything in their environment, they are taking a picture of, a mental image of it. So what are you giving to them? What are you allowing them to see from you as the parent? I know I got a lot, from both of my parents. I know I absorbed a lot of their personality, their attributes, but the words that they spoke, it made me be like, that's probably why I was trying to rush up out the house, child. That's probably why. That's why. Like, I was like, well, let me just go. Like, it's like this, they were great. But like, let me just go ahead and be up out here and just be an adult and like just try it for myself. because these are all of the things that I experienced as a child. So let me just go ahead and be an adult at this point. Because what else would I have to do? What are the other options? When you,
You just really got to try it yourself. It's not.
Yeah.
But even with the parenting, that's why when I got to a certain age, I stopped like blaming my mom or my dad for anything that was in me that I feel like wasn't developed or was underdeveloped or wasn't done enough or pushed me into making certain mistakes and stuff like that. Like that wasn't their fault. They was only doing the best that they could do with, like I said, in their time and where they was.
Right. So I imagine like you had this idea of yourself, like yourself as a child, like what you wanted to be, what you thought you would be as an adult. Because in your child mind, it's either very this way or very that way. It's like all over the place. Do you think that you are close to the image that you had of yourself as a child?
No.
That was a no.
Is no. Like as a child, I thought I would be like, it's crazy. Like just actually sitting and thinking about like what I thought myself would be like. I thought that I would be a firefighter and saving the day for my mom and putting my entire family in a neighborhood and buying a whole neighborhood out, a whole cul-de-sac for my whole family to live in. Just paying for my mom's bills and everything and making sure she's straight and making sure putting my dad in a nice car and certain things. Like it's expensive out here, John. It's real expensive.
Real expensive.
It took me getting to be an adult to not to say that those things are not attainable, but there's certain things that we have to unlearn along the way. There's certain mistakes that I made along the way that I never thought I would make. There's certain things that I had to learn on my own. And I feel like God has a way of allowing you to take certain detours because he understands that, maybe this is not the way you're going to learn it. So I have to allow you to make your own decisions so that you can see that there's really no sustenance on whatever side you thought you were going to go on.
Right.
And when you come back, you'll start to realize as an adult, like, oh, okay, that's why my mom was saying that. Oh, that's why my dad was saying that. That's why, they're just saying it, like I said, in the way that they can articulate it, even if it's harsh, even if it's not the way that you're quite understanding it at a younger age.
Right.
It's not until you get to an adult age. And our parents would say this, like, in Korea, they'd be like, oh, lo gen lasu, lo gen timun wapwe. And that means like basically like when you get older and you have your kids, you're gonna see. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in those, like in all those transitions, I would say like I took a detour on what I thought I would be.
You're like, not the only one.
Yeah. What I thought I would be like as an adult, but I don't regret anything. I believe everything happened the way that it's supposed to happen. I believe that every good and bad situation happened for a reason because there's lessons. There's certain things I would not have learned if I didn't take a detour, if I didn't go down that road, if I didn't make that decision. So I don't really regret anything.
Right. I agree with that. I at some point in my childhood thought I was going to be a pediatrician. Specifically a pediatric surgeon because something I love babies, right? Love little kids. Oh,
so you had your own.
No, it wasn't even until I had my own. It was when I got in college and I was taking, I think it was an organic chemistry, and I was like, there's more after this. I was like, nah, this ain't it. This is not it. This is not it. I'm a creative at heart. I'm a photographer. I like arts. I like all those things. And I like dealing with like the mind. But I realized, one, I don't like blood enough. I can't deal with it. I have to give my mom shots now. And I'm like, Lord Jesus, every single time. And she be like, wincing. I'm like, lady, I'm trying my best. I didn't go to nursing school. I'm not a phlebotomist. I don't know how to do this. Like this, they taught me in the hospital. They taught me what to do. And I was like, okay, cool. I got it. I could not work in the hospital. I could not. So I don't know how I thought in my little mind that that's what I was going to do. So no, I am definitely not on the path that I thought I was going to be on. But like you said, God allows you to do certain things. Like, I'm going to let you go on out there and wander a little bit. Go ahead. You making that decision right. That's on you. I'm going to let you do it because I'm going to use your foolishness.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's good.
I'm going to use your foolishness
good.
to bring you back to the path that I have for you. Mm-hmm. I'm going to use, go ahead. Go ahead. You want to be in that relationship so bad? Go ahead. Mm-hmm. You want to run around? You go ahead.
You know what's something? God will use your foolishness, turn it into a lesson so that you can have wisdom.
Facts. It's my cousin and I were talking about this. It's like when oftentimes when you're praying for certain things now, as an adult, you're praying for certain things. God will be like, okay, you're praying for peace. I'm going to put you through pure hell so that you gain that peace that you're asking for. I will put you through, I will allow you to live whatever life that you're trying to live so that you will learn the lesson that I've been trying to teach you all along. I wanted to teach you the light way. I was going to give you the little the little fluffy way. It was probably going to be real easy breezy, but you wanted to go over there and have it your way. So now you got to learn it. Now you got to run through all of the things that will teach you and give you the lessons that I need you to learn. But that essentially is like why I'm glad that I understand why I had the childhood that I had. I understand now like why my path was the way it was because it led me to where I am today. Absolutely. If it would have been anything else, it could have been a little too far to the left or a little too far to the right, and it would have been a completely different life. You would have had a completely different path of where you are now. You would probably be sitting somewhere completely different. True. And who knows whether that would be good or bad. We don't know. But you have to understand, like, I look at the path that I've been through and the things that I've been through, and I'm like, there are some people that if they were put on this path, they would not be standing. So you have to understand that, yes, your childhood, and whenever people try to point the finger, and I understand childhood traumas. I understand the things that our parents did knowing and unknowingly to us that, have created who we are today. However, there was a purpose. There was something in there that needed to happen or was supposed to happen, or even if it wasn't, but it did. And so it's about how you process that now as an adult and healing that inner child of you, healing the child version of you so that you can move forward and complete your purpose. So do you feel that based off of everything that you've been through, all the childhood things that right or wrong, whatever, do you feel that you have healed and you've worked on that inner version of you, that inner child you that is better now? Like, how do you feel about that?
Do I feel like I've healed? Completely no, because I don't believe that
it's never done.
I don't feel like it's a destination. I know that healing is a journey, but a majority of the negative aspects of it, yes. I feel like, yes, we're going to face adversity. We're going to face, like, life is not just going to give you what you want. Right. You're going to have to go through a couple of things. You're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to go through the nitty gritty in order to get where you want. And in those specific times, I would say right now is the most emotional aware I am. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm the most emotional aware, spiritually aware, and just like mentally aware of certain things like around me in my atmosphere or amongst my peers, friends, associates, clients. I would say right now is the most I would say woke. Definitely I think there was this one prayer, one of my brothers, shout out to EJ, man, had prayed for me, and he was just like, just seeing the collective
Mm-hmm.
and understanding that by you healing, other people will be healed. By you
Yes.
walking in that healing, by you making certain decisions to see things a certain way, to remove yourself
Mm-hmm.
and see things as a whole, that's what allows you. That's what allows other people around you also to be set free. Other people to be able to see, to be able to hear spiritually, mentally, to see certain habits or see certain ways that they have that they should change. You know, and when I think about me being healed from from a boy perspective, yes, I would say I'm definitely healed from majority of the things that I've been through. Um, as an adult, certain things that I've experienced, still shaky, still working on it,
It's a journey.
And it's a journey. It's a journey. It's a lot of checking myself. It's a lot of affirmations. It's a lot of reminding myself. It's a lot of just looking in the mirror and asking myself, who do you want to be?
Mm,
And what are you willing to go through? What are you willing to sacrifice to become that? You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
because it doesn't. It's a give and take. You don't get there without giving up certain things. If you want to be a great man, you have to let go things that a great man doesn't do. You know, if you want to be a good man, a good husband, good father, there's certain things that you're gonna face adversity.
Mm-hmm.
Is you might have to remove certain things, and those are the times where you really figure out, like, what, am I still dealing with this trauma? Or am I
Mm-hmm.
still dealing with this hurt? Excuse me. If I am I still dealing with certain things that I didn't think I was gonna go through, and
Yeah.
how is it affecting how I handle what's in front of me now?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
seen this quote that said, "You could tell you could tell who a person is by what they do when they fail. Some people give up, some people shut down, some people go away, some people, just cut everybody off. Who do you become when things don't go how you
Mm.
expect it to go? That determines, what, am I really healed? Or am I just in a different place? Or am I in a different space in my life? Am I around different people? Am I truly healed? Because it's easy to say, like, oh yeah, I'm healed, when nothing has hit the fan. Nothing has nothing has hit the fan to, like, oh, let me test out if you still got that anger issue.
Yeah, yeah,
Let me
yeah.
test out if you still have this in your, it's really a hard thing.
Yeah.
But it's same thing, like I said, it's a journey. It's not really a destination. But for a majority of the things that I've been through as a kid, absolutely, I would say I'm healed.
Yeah, I would
What about you?
I I agree. I think I am for the majority of the things that I went through as a child. I am for the most part healed. I understand that there are parts of me that still that I still have to work on. Meaning the whole moving around was one of, like, that's why I mentioned it, because that's one of the bigger things that did affect me as a child. And so that is still somewhat of an issue, and I need, when I move, I have to, like, settle in. I have to be able to be in my space and have my zen time, because I don't want to get to a space where I have to move again. I want to be able to be at peace. And so that's one of the bigger things that is still like I still got to deal with that, cuz whenever it's time for me to move, I'm like, "Oh, here we go. It's going to be a process. This is going to be another thing for me to go through." But other than that, outside of that, for the most part, I do believe that I've healed from a lot of the childhood things that I went through. And so it allows me now as an adult to parent my daughter the way I need to, because I don't want to have her experience any of the things, any of those types of traumas. You understand? Like, I don't want it to be where my traumas become her traumas. She might have her own, because there's some things you can't control. Like, she's going to go through her own set of issues, even with, the separation and divorce from me and her dad. Like, even though that was done when she was a little over a year, now she goes back and forth. Now there's this back and forth that she has to do, and that's something that's going to be her own set of traumas that she has to work through as she gets older. And I can only help that so much, right? Because
Hmm.
I had my child who I had my child with.
Hmm.
So now that we're no longer together, that's a whole nother thing. But what it does allow me, the healing that I have done, the work that I have done on myself, it allows me to walk forward and not look backwards. I'm not looking back to be like, oh, I need to go back to something, or I need to go back and fix. I can't fix the past. I can't fix it. I can't change it. All I can do is navigate moving forward, navigate how I'm going to be the better version of me every single day. Like, how can I get more peace? How can I get more understanding? How can I move forward and grasp all of these straws that life be trying to life be all over the place. Like, it'll have you all over the place because life be lifing sometimes. Real hard.
Real hard.
Real hard. It'd be like, I know you just went through this, but how about some of this?
Let me just go ahead and put you.
Let me give you some of this. Let me sprinkle a little craziness over a little. So you go through all these things, and life will literally try to take you back. It will give you things to try to take you back, to remind you of a past version of you. And it's like, are you gonna succumb to that? Are you gonna be like, yeah, I still got to deal with that anger. I still got to deal with that depression. One of the biggest things that I have experienced is seeing myself in a depressive state that I didn't realize what that looked like until I went through it. And I was like, oh, okay. But now that I understand what that depression looks like on me, I know how, if I get anywhere close to that, I know how to bring myself out of it. But that takes work. That takes understanding, and that takes doing the literal work on yourself and not wanting to go back. A lot of people will get stuck in their childhood traumas. They will allow themselves to stay in childhood traumas. Have you ever, I know we've seen some people like it's a question, but it's a question. Mm-hmm. Have you seen or dealt with people that you can tell that they are stuck in their childhood traumas?
Absolutely.
And in those cases, how do you navigate like dealing with them?
Ooh, this is something I'm still working on, because I believe that certain people have the ability to transfer energy. And I just really believe in protecting my energy, protecting my atmosphere, because I believe that certain people could be attached to a certain version of you, or certain people can bring out a certain version of you that you would literally have to remember. I told you don't really know when you hit until certain things hit the fan.
Yeah.
And you have your old self and who you want to be sitting next to you. Like, you know what? Which way am I going to respond?
Mm-hmm.
You want the old Darren, or do you want the Darren that's healed and Darren that's going to talk to you, Darren that's going to try to converse and hash whatever the situation is?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie to you. In certain cases, if it's somebody who is incompetent or chooses to be incompetent, I remove myself. If it's somebody who has a better understanding but are just stuck in their ways, I remove myself. If it's somebody who is working on themselves and is willing to take constructive criticism and is okay with getting out of their own way so that they can hear somebody else's perspective on what they see in order to make you better, in order to help you, I will sit and talk to you and tell you, hey, you know what? I noticed that this is an issue, and I understand that this is just between me and you, but let me help you fix that so you don't have that problem with other people.
Yes.
And this is a safe space I'm going to keep it between me and you.
Yeah.
Let's fix this right here so that when you go out in the world,
you don't have
this problem out there. I'd rather you fix it right here.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather, hey, let me circumcise you. Let me cut you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like in healthy relationships, you need to have friends who can cut you. And when I say cut you, I don't mean like, you need to have friends who could tell you about yourself without you feeling no type of way.
Right.
And you could stand outside yourself and be like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to work on that.
Yeah.
I see what you're talking about. Like I'm grateful that I have friends and family around me who are willing to tell me about myself so that I could see the speck in my eye. You know what? Let me just go ahead and remove that. Let me go ahead and correct
Mm-hmm.
that about myself. If you're that type of person, well, I could do that. We
Yeah.
can work with that.
Yeah.
But if you're the type of person that's just, oh, that's just how I am, I'm gonna go leave you right where you at.
Leave you right
I'm
there.
gonna leave you right where
You
you
can
at. I'm
go ahead and
good.
have it because
I'm good.
I'm not good. I'm not.
You can't take no accountability.
You
Oh,
can't.
I'm out here.
Those people
No.
that can't take accountability or see that they are stuck in an old version of themselves or they're stuck in a childhood version of themselves. If you can't see the wrongs in your ways, then there's nothing for us to talk about. There's nothing for us to talk about if you're not open to hearing some constructive criticism.
Absolutely.
I think, and like you said, there's cutting you where it's to help you. Like I'm going to give you some constructive criticism that's going to help you move forward. There's cutting you to be negative and nasty, and that people that are stuck in that childhood version of you, if they do try to give you what they call constructive criticism, it's usually cutting from a wounded place, cutting from that childhood trauma, cutting from that's not helpful, and those are people you gotta stay away from. Those are the ones you got to stay away from.
The friends that you know what I'm saying, you tell them something and then they use it against you in an argument and say, oh, that's why you da 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 da. See, you know what? That's exactly why we done right there. I'm gonna
right
just go
there. I'm gonna go ahead and
that.
exit stage left. Okay,
because
there's nothing for us to talk about. And that I'm so grateful to be in this space now of that going through a healing journey. That's why I advocate for therapy so much because you need to, if you can't process it with yourself, you need to talk to somebody that can help you process your stuff. Having a tribe of people around you that help you and talk to you and help you navigate that space is amazing as well. But also a therapist, because the stuff that you're going to need to talk about and work through, you might not be ready to talk about that with your homeboy.
That's true.
You might not be, your homegirl might not be able to understand because she may not have gone through anything remotely close to that. But you will have some people that are like, oh no, like that therapist, or you might have the therapist friend. I feel like I might be the therapist friend for some of my friends sometimes.
Sure.
And I feel like it's my calling. It is my calling. So
stop playing.
So it's in those moments, talk to that therapist friend you got. Talk to an actual therapist. If you're okay with blurring the lines of your friendship and the therapist, and your friend is okay with that, then by all means. But if not, then talk to a real therapist so that you can heal from the past version of you that is ready at any moment when some stuff pops off to like come back and be like, you're not healed. Ha ha ha. Like you haven't gotten over that. I'm right here sitting in your back pocket. You got to get over those things. You have to find a way to process it. Have to find a way to move forward in your life with everything that you're supposed to do. You have to find a way. So, Darren.
Yes, ma'am.
What we talked about affirmations. What are some affirmations that you can leave with the people that you tell yourself on a daily basis to, or even over the past few years as you've been going through your healing journey, that you kind of say to yourself to walk forward and heal those inner child version of you?
Oh man, there's a few that come off the top of the head. Some of them are verses.
Okay.
Because I feel like there's nothing that's more powerful than the word. No, really, there's nothing that's more powerful than the word. But
Facts.
Just telling myself that I'm capable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that it's safe to mess up.
Mm-hmm.
It's safe to not get it right. It's safe to try and fail.
Yeah.
It's safe to say no. It's okay to not have the capacity to do every single thing. It's okay to take one step at a time. And I just completely encourage myself. One of my favorite verses, Joshua 1, verse 9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord will be with you wherever you go. And I'll just repeat it to myself whenever I feel like, dang, this is hard, or I overthink myself into doing something that I should do.
Yeah.
Or something that I feel like, is I need to do this.
Yeah.
And sometimes I either prolong it and I might say, all right, like, I'm gonna do it today. I'm like, nah, I don't feel like doing it. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. And I'm like, nah, I don't feel like doing it. And originally what happens is we end up not ever doing it. So just I also do this thing where it's like if it scares you, I seen this in a movie once and it sat with me and I just did it. If it scares you, count to 3, do it. 1, 2, 3, and just do it.
Yeah.
Just make it happen. Don't put it off. Don't wait. Cause we actually build scars. We build certain things by waiting too long, or by not speaking up, or by not moving on it. Like somebody else's life might be depending on that word, while you playing. Somebody else's life might be depending on it. But definitely I just encourage myself. Like one thing I do as a man, like it's not corny. It's not like, man, put reminders all over your room. I put like sticky notes on my mirror, put sticky notes on like my desk, put sticky notes inside of my bag, inside of my notebook, inside of my gym bag. So when I open it and it's just like you are enough. I open this like you're capable. When I open this, like you have the capacity. You have everything you need within you. Like you are a powerhouse. You are a provider. You are strong. And certain things, it's like even if I struggle to walk in it, because I'm seeing it so often, subconsciously it's building.
Yeah. Yeah.
Slowly but surely it's building.
Yeah.
And not only that, I believe it's in Psalms 34, and it says, when you find peace, you maintain it. Like when you have your peace, do what you need to do to maintain your peace. Maintain your peace. Like if you're somebody who's growing and you have no crowd you used to hang with, you have old people, old relationships, no matter what it is that brings an old version of you out, remove it. Remove it. Remove yourself from that environment. Remove them. There's some people you can't remove, unfortunately. There's some people you can't remove. And that you just gonna have to pray. You're gonna have to do other things. You're gonna have to find a middle ground on that. But definitely don't surround yourself around people who don't allow you to grow.
Yeah.
Like they don't allow you to be that version of yourself. It's like one thing I learned is that when you allow yourself to stay attached to certain people that you were cool with in a certain place, when you progress from that, people who are with you in that old place, they feel like, oh, you don't mess with us. You're not, or you think you're better than us because you're not here no more, whatever.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, nah, man, you gotta
That's not
grow.
the case. Yeah.
You gotta grow. You have to allow yourself to grow. And even if that means removing yourself from people who no longer serve you in a season anymore, and that's okay. But those are the things that I say that for myself.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I would add to those affirmations, I would add, I am at peace.
Ooh.
I am powerful.
Yes.
I am worthy.
Yes.
I am gracious.
Yes.
I am strong. I am intelligent. Like I am smart. Like these are the things I tell my daughter to tell herself, because I need her to start speaking life onto herself. So speak life onto yourself. Speak life onto the inner version, the inner child of you that is still healing, that is trying to get over those past traumas, that is trying to build onto the future. Speak life. Those words mean things. They really, really, really do. Try not to downplay the destiny that is within you. Try not to downplay the journey that you're on, even if you're in a season that seems like it might be dark for you right now. Don't allow yourself to sit in that. Allow yourself to move past it and work through it and get stronger within the journey that you're on. So thank you guys for tuning in to episode 2, Healing Your Inner Child. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about. Let's keep healing, keep walking in that journey.
Absolutely.
See you guys next time.
See y'all.
Bye.